Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another 2024 election prediction. Today, I'll be doing a prediction between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. 2024, this could very well be a 2024 matchup again, which would be a 2020 election rematch. So, without further ado, let's just get right into the video. I'm not really going to spend much time on safe Democrat states. We all know what they are, and I will not be spending much time on them. Obviously, almost completely all of the Northwest, with a little bit of Illinois in there, and Hawaii are my safe states. Now, safe Republican states, not spending much time on these either, and I'm really not going to be super specific with the margins in these states. Obviously, Republicans have the map looks bigger, but the areas are less dense in population. So you have 4 votes in Montana and 54 in California, and they're very similar in size area, but much less people live in Montana. I'm sorry, I forgot about all these safe Democrat states up here. There we go. Safe Democrat states. Likely Democrat states: Virginia, New Mexico. And that's about it for actually. I'll do Maine second, and New Hampshire is not likely. With Joe Biden, I'm not going to put it likely yet. I'm not going to give Joe Biden likely New Hampshire. But that's it for all my likely states at the moment. Likely Republican states: Iowa, Ohio, and Maine second. Trump seems to do very well in these states, and he outperformed Mitt Romney by 8 to 9 to 10 points in each of these states. Obviously, Romney lost all 3 of them, and the district, of course. Okay, lean Democrat. We'll get into more specifics with this. It's been trending more to the right, Minnesota, a bit slower than the rest of the Rust Belt. I'll say Biden will win it by around 4 or 5 points, maybe 3 if Donald Trump is lucky. But Minnesota will remain in the lean Democrat column. Same with Nebraska second. Biden has a suburban appeal, and I think he'll also do well in Nebraska's 2nd congressional district, as well as Nevada, which has a slightly higher proportion of Democrats to Republicans, which is why it's always a close state, but the Democrats usually outperform Republicans by about 2 points. Also with New Hampshire, Biden does well in suburban areas in New Hampshire as well, and I do believe Biden will do well in New Hampshire. He won by about 7, 8 points in 2020. I think he'll do a little bit worse just because it does tend to shift back after an incumbent's re-election year. As recent data shows, Obama lost electoral votes in his re-election. Obviously, Trump lost electoral votes, and that has been the trend so far. Anyway, for lean Republican states, it will be Florida, which has been shifting to the right. DeSantis has been seen very, very popular in Florida. High polling numbers. Trump increased his win in Florida from about 1.2 points, I believe, in 2016 to now about 3.5 points in 2020. And Trump probably will win it by around 4 points in 2024 if he is the nominee and runs. Same with North Carolina. Trump will probably win it by around 2 to 3 points. It shifted back towards Biden a little bit in 2020. Trump won it by about 1.8 points. You can round it up to 2. But I think it will shift a little bit more to Trump, as it does tend to, as recent history shows, shift away from the favor of the incumbent. North Carolina could do that as well. And the final lean state, which is, I guess, a little bit of a shocker, is Wisconsin. It has been shifting to the right. Biden won that state by the smallest margin in 2020. He won it by 0.5. Trump won it by 0.7 in 2016. The shift is very, very evident in Wisconsin. I think Trump will actually do pretty well in Wisconsin, maybe win it by 2 points. With this great shift happening, Biden only won it by 0.5 in 2020, while Obama back in 2012 won it by, I'm pretty sure, 8 points. And then Trump won in 2017 or 2016, and it just has shown massive shifts to the right. And I see it going leans in 2024, especially if Trump is the nominee. Okay, let's get to the tilt states, which are the most important states. Tilt Democrat: Arizona, Georgia. Biden won these by tilt margins in 2020. I see him winning it by tilt margins in 2024. I do see the Trump campaign possibly shifting away from one of these states and saying we should focus on one or the other. But I still see Biden taking those two tilt states by about the same margins. I think Biden won Georgia by 0.2 in 2020 and Arizona by 0.3. That will be around the same, possibly 0.6, 0.7, but that's just it's a very specific prediction. But tilt margin is really all that needs to be known. Okay, let's shift back to Republican tilt states. Texas, I still see being Republican tilt against Biden. I do see it shifting into the tilt margin, getting pretty close for Donald Trump and pretty hard for the Republicans to hang on to. I think they'll hang on to it for at least another election cycle. As we saw, Trump still has a slight or somewhat sizable lead from 2020, won by over 5.5 points in Texas, and he could win. And I do think he'll win Texas again. It'll just be by the smallest of margins, maybe 0.8, 0.9, towards the 1%. But very small margins in Texas, and Democrats could very well take it in 2024. In 2028, but that's way down the line. Another tilt Republican state I see being Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania, similar to Wisconsin, just not as big of margin. I do see it shifting back into the Republican column in 2024, and I do see Trump winning Pennsylvania as he does Wisconsin. It's just that Pennsylvania is slightly behind Wisconsin in the demographic change and in the proportion of Democrats to Republicans, but very winnable state for Trump in Pennsylvania. Now, the final state to be called, which will decide the winner of the 2020 election, is Michigan, and I will tilt that in Biden's favor, making him win the 2020 election by the narrowest of electoral votes. Michigan, obviously, the slowest state to change in the election cycle. Biden won it by about 2.5 points. In 2020. Trump won by 0.3 in 2016. I still see it staying in Biden's column, probably around 0.6, 0.7%, but at least staying with the Democrats for at least one more election cycle. So Biden wins the election, 274, 264, remains as president of the United States until at least 2029. And I know that the years are getting a bit crazy. Now we're talking about 2029, which is essentially 8 years from now, but Biden will hang on to the presidency and go on to serve another 4-year term as president of the United States, if he obviously does decide to run for re-election. In other things that I do wish to tell you guys, I do plan to do a 2024 election night, which is animated with music, and it's going to be like a Google slide or whatnot. But I've seen a few of those on YouTube, and I'm a bit interested. I know it's going to take some time, and I don't know when it'll be released. But I really want to do one, and I'm obviously going to make it good candidates because, or the most likely candidates because, I'm going to spend a lot of time on it, and I want it to be as realistic as possible. So if you guys would like to check that out and are really interested in it, please like up the video or comment. Please say do the election night in the comment section, and that'll encourage me to do it probably. But I really appreciate all the support. If you're new to the channel, please make sure to subscribe and like the video. And thank you guys so much for staying, and have a great day.